Well, there you have it, dear viewers. We just finished the trial date for day 9 of the Senate impeachment trial for the Vice President Sara Duterte. And before we end our broadcast, Tony Chris, there were a lot of things that happened. But one thing, if I may ask, again, as a member of the general public, without any legal background, there seems to be an inconsistency with regard to what Director Matibag had said. No, he said earlier this afternoon that the crime was already consummated because of the utterance and the circumstance within which it was uttered. There were witnesses and such, and yet they're still investigating.
Yes.
Is that an actual inconsistency? I mean, because it doesn't quite make sense.
Medyo nalito din ako dun, Mike. Pero ang pagkakaintindi ko nung umpisa, what Director Matibag mentioned to have been consummated is the betrayal of public trust. So ang sinabi niya, the charge of the betrayal of public trust as an impeachable offense, it has been consummated when the VP contracted an assassin.
Okay.
So, doon pa lang, consummated na. Ibig sabihin ho ng consummated, done deal na. Naisagawa na.
Yes.
Na-accomplish na yung crime. Pero, yung sumunod na sinabi niya, doon ako nalito. Na sinasabi niya, they are no longer investigating the betrayal of public trust because it was already consummated nga, diba?
Yes.
Pero you remember yesterday, he said that there was actually inulit din niya yata kanina yan eh. There is still an ongoing investigation.
Correct. Yun nga.
So, parang nakakalito, parang akala ko ba tapos na, kaya nga tayo merong impeachment hearing na ngayon, no? And then may ongoing investigation pa. So, doon ako medyo yun siguro yung sinasabi mo na inconsistency.
Yes. So, and he kept saying multiple times, because he was asked multiple times, na they will still need, when he was pressed for a timeline, he said hopefully maybe within the next 3 to 6 months, they can complete the investigation.
And that is material because if he claims to, if he's saying that there still is an ongoing investigation, that's the reason why he mentioned he cannot disclose the identities of the persons in interest.
Yes.
Na sinabi rin niya kanina, the persons of interest were narrowed down to less than 20 individuals. So parang iba yung treatment dun sa utterance, no? Let's not use grave threats anymore.
Okay.
Kasi grave threats, it's a crime eh. Iba na yung treatment sa utterance, yun yung inakyat as impeachable offense of betrayal of public trust.
Okay.
Iba rin yung treatment sa utterance insofar as a hired assassin was contracted. That's why there's still an ongoing investigation. That's why they can't name the persons of interest. That's why the persons of interest were narrowed down to less than 20 individuals. So that's kind of if it's not inconsistent, that's kind of confusing, if you ask me.
Yes.
So, hindi yata nalinaw din kanina eh.
Well, for me, again, as a member of the viewing public, it's still not clear sa akin.
Yes.
But again, staying with this particular na item muna, no? Maraming discussions talaga, no? But before we leave this particular point, another thing that I'm curious about is that if the NBI director continues to stand by what he said na because of the ongoing investigation, he does not want to compromise his people in the course of their investigation by divulging certain details. Possible ba during an impeachment na trial na magkaroon ng executive session so that information may be disclosed to the senator judges?
Yes. Magandang tanong yan, Mike. Kanina kasi during cross-examination ni Attorney Binluan, he also asked that hypothetical scenario about the Senate impeachment court issuing a subpoena pertaining to the information on those persons of interest.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, the response there of Director Matibag is he's inclined to to beg off, to refuse because of, yun na nga, sinasabi nila na medyo national interest at saka national security, at saka it might compromise the safety, the identities of the not of the persons of interest, but rather
The people
the agents they
investigating.
have on the field. So
Okay.
but to ask it's a hypothetical question, but it's sanctioned under the rules of the impeachment court. You remember we mentioned yesterday, a few days ago, na we explained why it was only Senator Chis Escudero in his capacity as a presiding officer. Siya lang ang nag-rule doon sa subpoenas sa mga bank records at saka
Yes.
sa tax records. Yan ay makikita, mga kaibigan, sa Article 6. Before Article 6 ng Senate rules, meron dyan Article 5, sinasabi nila, the Senate has the power to compel the attendance of witnesses, to enforce obedience to its orders, mandates, writs, judgments, so on and so forth. So meron siyang compulsory process. Meron siyang kakayanan na i-summon or i-subpoena or i-require ang submission ng information, ng document, ng testimony.
Yes.
As to whether ibibigay yan through executive session or hindi, call nila yan. Pero to answer your question, merong power ang Senate to do that.
Okay.
Pero ito, hanggang sa natapos na ang testimony ni Director Matibag na hindi nakakapag-motion for subpoena ang concerned party, hindi na-elicit yun. Pero kasi, you have to understand, mga kaibigan, ang punto na to, ang nagpe-present ng evidence, prosecution. So, ang prosecution, ginawa nila kanina, after mag-cross-exam ni Attorney Binluan, sinabi nila, hindi na nila kailangan mag-redirect. Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin nito? Di ba, we started with the direct exam, yung prosecution ang nagtatanong muna sa testigo nila, and then nag-cross si Binluan on matters related to, germane to, or pertinent to, or relevant to the matters covered on direct. Yun yung coverage ng cross.
Yeah.
Yung mga tinamaan na mga matters sa cross, pwede niyang i-redirect ulit ng prosecution. Pero they opted not to. Parang yung alala ko sinabi ni Attorney Lorna Kapunan, they know when to stop. Di ba? Alam na nila kung tama na, wag na. Sa tingin ko, ayaw rin nila siguro na, it's either, they mentioned they're satisfied, they're convinced already that they have established their point. And I agree kasi nailabas nila among others yung statement nila sa Kanyas.
Yes.
Doon pa lang, puntos na sila doon eh. So, it's a good strategy on the part of the prosecution not to proceed with the redirect anymore. Kasi baka lang, they might even open another opportunity for the defense to ask damaging questions to their witness. So, yun yung nakita ko doon. Hindi na-forego na rin yung opportunity to subpoena at this point.
Yes.
At this point. Pero, if you... I had a chance to go over the pre-trial brief of the defense. I think Director Matibag is also one of their hostile witnesses for the defense. So they might ask the impeachment court to summon him again, and they might probably ask him to articulate or to ventilate the matter on those persons of interest. So tingnan natin. Ngayon kasi prosecution pa lang naman eh.
But again, just to clarify to our viewing audience, there's nothing limiting there's nothing that limits the impeachment court from convening an executive session if they fully take note or take full cognizance of what Director Matibag has repeatedly said about the revelation of specific details will compromise or might compromise.
Sa akin, sa tingin ko, hindi yan motu proprio, so to speak, motu proprio on its own gagawin ng impeachment court. Dapat talaga yung motion for a subpoena or yung compulsory process to compel Director Matibag to shed light on those persons of interest, manggagaling yan from the defense.
Okay.
Kasi mapapansin, ako, opinion ko dito sa nangyari, tapos na sila mag-present sa Article 6 eh. Yung absence ng identified assassin, napapahina niya yung actual plot theory ng prosecution eh.
Yes.
So, parang it adds to the credibility, to the weight of their evidence, their allegations and evidence na meron talagang threat sa life ng Pangulo nung meron talagang assassin na kokontrak eh. Pero yun nga, ang opinion naman dyan ni Director Matibag, hindi na kailangan yung identity ng assassin
Right.
dahil noong nag-utter pa lang si VP Sara, consummated na. So, yun ang medyo mga palaisipan na pag-iisipan ng ating mga senator judges later on kung guilty or not guilty ba siya sa Article 4 pa lang.
Yes.
So, ano pa ba?
There were a couple of things na binanggit ng other senator judges during their interpellations. Ito, pagduduktuin ko lang
Yes, go ahead.
There was a question about freedom of expression. Now, I hope you'll allow me to link this to what constitutes a valid threat, because that was also asked kanina. So, what in that particular na scenario, again, if we can set aside muna yung criminal aspect ng grave threat, looking at yung sinabi ni Mayor Baste, yung sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte, and even others na hindi na tutuwa or just disagree with certain members of the government. Yung mga utterances na what would be their limitations in terms of exercising their freedom of expression, and along with that, at what point does it become an actual valid threat?
Yun nga. In so many words, ang sagot dyan ni Attorney Matibag kanina yung tinatawag natin na clear and present danger. This is the same question also asked of Attorney Lotok before. There are two doctrines. Kasi meron pag freedom of expression, meron yang freedom from prior restraint. So may karapatan meron tayong freedom na hindi pagbawalan, prior restraint, or freedom from subsequent punishment. Yung dalawa na yan na components ng freedom of expression, hindi yan unlimited. Pwede yan i-check, pwede yan i-limit based on two doctrines. First is clear and present danger, at saka meron tayong tinatawag na dangerous tendency. So the name speaks for itself. Pagka dangerous tendency, meron lang tendency na makapahamak, pwede nang i-curtail yung freedom.
Okay.
Dangerous tendency.
Yes.
Ang clear and present danger, kailangan merong danger which is clear, which is present. So when we say clear and present, it's imminent, not mere tendency. Kung meron ng clear and present danger, saka pwedeng pagbawal, pwedeng i-restrain or pwedeng i-punish yung utterance.
Okay.
Dito, balik natin sa mga utterance not only ni VP Sara but also ni Mayor Baste doon sa kanyang rage or rag or basta yun. Ang sinasabi niya doon, yung sabihan niya ulo ng Pangulo, that's not a mere dangerous tendency. That's parang merong present danger talaga yan.
Yes, exactly. But that's also an idiomatic expression as a communication. That's an idiomatic expression. In English natin, I want his head. Diba? Heads will roll.
Yeah.
Diba? How would you make sense of that? Diba? Na ini-interpret nila or they literally took it. They, meaning the NBI, took it as a grave threat.
Yeah.
As a present threat, di ba? Na hindi mo pwedeng yan because of the situation, the circumstance, na parang ini-excite mo yung audience mo, di ba? Na supporters mo na nga.
So parang figurative speech yun. No?
Correct.
Pero sa tingin ko na-cover yan noong cross-exam yesterday.
Yes.
Kaya nga doon naungkat yung 5 pillars or yung batayan. So the pattern of violence, gravity, identity, capacity, motive.
Yep.
So parang sinasabi nila, Yun pa rin, yung clear and present danger doctrine pa rin yan. Pero syempre, they're using these factors, yung pattern of violence, gravity, identity, capacity, motive, which she discussed yesterday. Kaya siguro they acted upon those utterances by the Duterte siblings, si VP Sara,
Yes.
even Mayor Baste Duterte.
Oo.
Yun lang, but still I maintain, it's still my opinion that unless and until the assassin is identified, medyo mahina yung actual plot theory na yan. So it's very vital talaga.
Oo.
So, I would say that insofar as the Article 4 is concerned, parang more or less parang 50-50 ang prosecution at saka defense. Parang medyo tabla sila dito
Tabla
sa,
ba so
sa
far?
round 1.
Okay.
Round 1,
Okay.
Article 4. Yun.
On something more, hindi naman kasing heavy nitong mga usapan with regard to the subpoenas or the pag-divulge nung information. Again, for the viewing public lang, what allows how does the presiding officer decide in terms of uttering the phrase the witness is capable to answer? How is he able to how does he determine that? Is it because of his knowledge of the person's background, in this case Matibag, na having his legal background, diba? So may mga questions na may nakita tayong instances na yung prosecution objected, diba, and yet sinabi ng presiding officer, the witness may answer, the witness is capable
If
of
the
answering.
witness knows, he can answer.
Yes.
Yun. So, kumbaga, it's...
It's more of yung mga proceedings, yung mga technicalities. So, paano yan?
This one, it's the presiding officer being liberal about it.
Okay.
Kasi, tama naman, pagka-impeachment court, it's sui generis yung proceedings. They really do not have to be very technical about things. Pero kung technical talaga ang pag-uusapan, doon pa lang sa umpisa, yung testigo, kinu-qualify na yan kung siya ay factual witness or ordinary witness
Okay.
or expert.
Okay.
Expert.
Okay.
Kasi kung factual witness siya, yun yung doon papasok yung mga requirements na the witness can only testify on matters of his or her personal knowledge.
Yes, not hearsay.
Not hearsay. At saka,
Okay.
ang pwede lang niya i-testify, factual.
Yes.
Hindi siya pwedeng magsabi ng opinion sa tingin ko, guilty yan for this, guilty yan for that. Hindi pwede.
Yeah.
Expert witness on the other hand, sila ay binibigyan ng latitude dahil nga sa kanilang expertise
Okay.
to render or to give their opinion as a general rule.
Okay.
Yan, hindi nangyari yan dito sa impeachment proceedings dahil antemano, nung sinalang yung mga testigo natin, they're considered both factual and experts sa field nila. Si Attorney Lotoc pagdating sa cybercrime, si Agent Kalilong pagdating din sa OSINT or sa cybercrime din, sa mga videos online, at saka si Director Matibag pagdating sa buong proseso ng NBI. At saka to think na isa rin siyang abogado, so alam niya yung batas tungkol dyan. So they were considered as factual and expert witnesses. Kaya naman, nung may mga bagay, naghahalo na. Merong hindi based on personal knowledge, meron ng mga tanong based on opinion, meron ng mga tanong based on... Actually, it's the senator judges, particularly our presiding officer, being liberal.
Yes.
Para sinasabi lang niya, ang importante yung makuha natin yung katotohanan so that when they vote on Article 4 later on, they can vote intelligently, hopefully. Alam nila lahat. So, yun. And sa tingin ko, 50-50. Kaya nga, di ba, that's part of that liberality na kailangan binabalanse. Bakit? Parang nasobrahan. Itong kay Director Matibag.
Yes.
Hindi sa kanya. Hindi sa kanya. Doon sa dokumento ni Mr. Las Cañas.
Las Cañas.
Yun pa rin Yun pa rin talagang, doon talaga medyo actually, dapat ngang maging liberal, pero wag naman at the same time, we are disregarding basic tenets ng fairness na, for example, somebody, a third person, executed a statement,
Yes.
and a third statement at data na nabanggit sa interjection
Senator
ni...
Judge Lacson.
Yep. Pangatlong statement na ni Las Cañas yan.
Yes. I also wanted to ask that then, because again,
No.
as a member of the general public, no, how material is that particular na situation na unang-una sinabi nga ni Senator Judge Lacson na Las Cañas retracted his statement.
Yeah.
And it turns out that was actually the third na statement na pinresent. So how would that impact yung presentation ng defense nung statement na yun?
Yun yung kaya nga when actually that's not really favorable to the prosecution. That problema, they really wanted to, they managed the risk eh. Gusto nilang i-bring up yung matter doon sa kanyang statement. May boomerang yan.
Oo.
Mauungkat yung credibility ng tao. So yun na nga, nangyari kanina.
Yes.
Nabanggit, pangatlong statement na niya yan. Pero yun na nga, bakit ba dapat hindi nila inungkat yan? Kasi unang-una, we have a person who is not taking the witness stand, who executed a statement na hindi under oath. Ano ibig sabihin pag hindi under oath? Hindi notaryado yan. You can't sue the guy for perjury. He didn't execute the statement under oath, so he can't be liable for perjury. So parang hindi siya pwedeng i-hold accountable sa statements niya. Kaya kinakailangan talaga under oath yan. At pangalawa, the document purportedly his written statement, it's not even original. Yung signature niya doon is...
Yes.
So parang napaka-dangerous nun para basahin, although ito na nga sinasabi natin kanina kahapon pa.
Kahapon.
Na yan ay dapat lamang i-consume or intindihin natin as part of the narrative ni Director Matibag nung siya ay nagko-conduct ng investigation, establishing one of the pillars, which is the pattern of violence. Pattern of violence allegedly ni BP Sara.
Yes.
Pero the statement would have sufficed na meron siyang statement about that. Pero nung pinakita nila yung minutest detail, what the statement is about, nawala na yung limitation na we shouldn't consume that as evidence of the truth of the contents of that affidavit. Binasa mo na sa public, damaging na yan syempre,
nag-react doon si Senator Judge Cayetano.
nag-push back ang depensa.
Oo.
Kung ganyan din naman pala, titirahin namin yung credibility ni Las Cañas.
Yes.
So parang ngayon, kaya nga sinasabi ko sa iyo, Mike, etong Article 4 na to, merong banat ang prosecution against the defense, merong counter ang defense. Sa tingin ko, 50-50, parang silang... So, talagang, ang mangyayari niya, mauwi tayo sa numbers game na lang pagdating sa botohan ng impeachment. So, yun. Yun ang aking mga naobserbahan ngayon.
Isa pang mababaw na question. I hope you don't mind. Yung kanina na medyo nag-react si Senator Raffy Tulfo, 2 minutes. What comprises the 2 minutes ba? In terms of itong rules nila sa pag-interpolate.
Ewan ko
Senator Judges.
nung eto lang nag-uusap tayo tungkol doon kay Las Cañas, umabot tayo ng 2 minuto. Sabi ko ba, napakahirap nung pagka-share ng 2 minuto. Kaya ako din, parehas tayo ng pagkakaintindi nung day 4, day 5 yata yan. Na ang 2 minutes nila is literal na 2 minutes doon sa actual questions being propounded. It does not include the time for the counsel or for the witness to answer those questions.
Yes.
Kasi otherwise, kapag ang senador nagtanong, ang gagawin lang ng testigo pag ayaw niya yung mga tanong ng senador, matatagalin lang niya yung sagot. Ubusin niya 2 minutes. So ang pagkakaintindi ko talaga, yung
the 2 minutes includes the answer.
Hindi kasali.
Hindi kasali.
So hindi kasali. So inisip ko kanina kung parang nagagalit si Senator Raffy Tulfo, napakamot na lang siguro si Senator Chis pero yun nga pero
because they have to have diba, syempre yung rules nila in terms of how to ensure na hindi imomonopolize
Yeah.
ng isang tao, di ba, in terms of yung questioning
Yes, yes.
and asking a secondary, a third question, a fourth question, di ba, na si Ben, related naman yan sa unang question ko.
But anyway, pero it's I think lahat ng nangyayari na to, impeachment trial, day 9 tayo ngayon, day
Yes,
9.
day 9.
It's a work in progress. Kasi napansin mo, in the past few days, they can interject anytime na they deem necessary, re-raise lang nila
Yes.
lahat. Biglang nagkaroon sila ng internal rule,
Yes.
agreement na mag-interject tayo
At the
after.
end. Oo, at the end.
So, work in progress. So ngayon, baka nga babalikan nila yung 2 minutes na yan. Sa tingin ko, babalikan nila yung 2 minutes na yan. So, mga admin matters. Ito pa, aga natin natapos. Maaga tayo makakauwi, Mike. Kaya tayo maaga natapos dahil winave na so yung redirect. So, na-discuss na natin yan. Ang redirect ay tumutukoy lamang supposedly sa mga matters discussed on cross. So, they waived it because probably they're satisfied. That's what they are telling the...
Yes.
And they also would preclude the opposing counsel, the defense, from asking damaging questions on recross.
Yeah.
Yung sinasabi, less words, less mistake.
Oh.
So, ganun mag-redirect kung di naman kinakailangan. So, yun ang ating... kanina rin pala, Mike, na lala ko, nabanggit about yung pending perjury cases, allegedly, ni Attorney Lotoc and Agent Calilong. I think
Yes,
this was...
bring up yun ni Senator Judge Padilla.
Oo. Si Senator Robin ang nag-bring up, no?
Correct.
This was denied by Congresswoman Luistro. She said that they verified, they checked, wala daw pending perjury case. At saka sinabi pa niya dito na ang magdi-disqualify lang sa kanila is not the pendency of the perjury case but rather a final conviction yung sa perjury. Ito yata yung pagtatanong na biglang object si Senator Rafi Tulfo. Ayun, 2 minutes na rin. Ang tagal-tagal. Anyway. So, etong salarin ang haba ng balikan nila dito kaya tuloy nag-object si Senator Rafi. May mga tanong si Senate Presiding Officer Cheese Escudero kay Director Matibag tungkol dun sa identity of the assassin. Na-elicit niya, na-paamin niya kay Director Matibag na ang identity ng assassin is material and relevant pa rin dito sa Article 4. So, maganda yung na-bring up ni Senator Cheese na yan. And the rest, yun na, admin matters na.
Yes. So we have yung, let's do a reminder for our audience in terms of yung next two na witnesses na i-call nila who happen to be from Land Bank or were formerly from Land Bank.
Yeah, sige Mike. Unang announcement, bukas meron daw silang conference pero hindi po ito hearing. Hindi po ito hearing, no? Transfer of markings tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then, you remember, yesterday they deferred the issuance of the subpoena. Now they are, the impeachment court, they ordered the issuance of the subpoena to Ms. Constantino and Ms. Camposano of Land Bank. Apparently they're former Land Bank managers.
Correct.
So they will be presented as witnesses in that particular order on July 29, Wednesday next week at 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. po mga kaibigan.
Ano na yung oras natin next week?
5 oras po yan. Kumain na ho kayo ng maaga. No? Mahihilo ko pagka...
Brunch.
Mahuhulihan na naman tayo ng Doritos dito sa harapan ng laptop natin. Pero anyway, kanina rin nabanggit kanina ni Senator Cheese during the admin matters. Yung Article 18, ito magandang puntot ni Senator Cheese. Article 18. Okay, mga kaibigan, sinasabi kasi ng Article 18, babasahin ko po ito Ang Article 18, at all times while the Senate is sitting upon the trial of an impeachment, the doors of the Senate shall be open to the public. Pwede yan. Kahit law student, kahit sino pwede yan. Silence shall be observed by the visitors at all times on pain of eviction from the trial venue. Second paragraph, the presiding officer and the members of the Senate shall refrain from making any comments and disclosures in public pertaining to the merits of a pending impeachment trial. Ito Mike, mahalaga to kasi they took an oath, lahat mga senator judges natin, that they will be, among others, be impartial.
Okay.
Part of being impartial is they should refrain from making comments. Parang sub judice eh. Wag natin i-discuss sa publiko yung merits kasi tayo magde-determine ng guilt or not guilty verdict later on. So hindi dapat sila mag-discuss sa publiko.
Yes.
Okay? Ito ang pinakamahalaga. Hindi lang yan applicable sa mga senator judges. According to Article 18, last paragraph, last sentence, the same shall likewise apply to the prosecutors, to the person impeached, and to their respective counsel and witnesses. So bawal i-discuss.
Yes.
Anong ginagawa natin ngayon, Mike? Di ba bawal to? Hindi. Hindi po kami prosecutor, hindi po kami person impeached, at hindi rin po kami defense counsel,
Yes.
let alone witness. So, and what we're doing now is a commentary which is part of the freedom of expression and press freedom.
Yes.
So, walang clear and present danger para tayo pagbawalan, magdadakdak tungkol sa opinion natin sa nangyayari. So, bakit nasabi ni Senator Cheese itong Article 18? He encouraged the parties to just have their particular spokespersons.
Yes.
Para at the same time organize, maiwasan yung pag-discuss ng comments or ng merits pending itong impeachment trial. So maganda itong Article 18. So yun, nabanggit din kanina Mike ni Senator Cheese na so far so good, we are 2 days ahead.
That's right.
Yeah. So ano daw, for the witnesses, 6 na araw daw ang nakonsumo. So parang at the average, 2 hearing dates per witness tayo.
Yes.
And then 3 hearing dates for oral arguments. Na total of 9 days. Tapos 3 witnesses. So far so good. 2 days ahead.
2 days ahead.
So yun, ano Boss Mike? So nabanggit kanina, Luzona, walang hearing, Martes, walang hearing. So kailan tayo magkikita ulit?
Sa 29.
29 na.
29.
So,
Pero, nagbago na yung time. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
So yun lang aking mga na-notes ko during the hearing this afternoon, Mike. Wala na akong mabanggit pa. Wala na akong ma-discuss.
Okay. So that closes out our coverage of Day 9 of the Senate's impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Thank you again for watching the Manila Times. I'm Michael Ang and with Attorney Chris Gargantiel. Thank you and good day.